Hi everybody, Desmo here. It's been a week since Early Access was released and it's a good time for me to share with you my build, which is a Deadeye Ranger. I have a boss here in the tier 7 map, so let's have some fun and then let's talk about the build.
Storm point.
And there we go. So I'm gonna go quickly into the map, let's pick that, just to show you a little bit of the clearing, how it looks. So I just got a Blasphemy setup, which is really good for defense. I'm slowing down everything around me. The build is great, you go fast, the damage is really good as well. So yeah, this is pretty much how it looks like. It's a very good build. I'm gonna TP out and go in my hideout to speak about everything about the build. I'm gonna make a quick build review, talk about the upside and the downside. Then I'm gonna show you the skill tree, I'm gonna speak about the skills, the gears, and then we're gonna speak about maybe the upgrade that we still can make in the build, and also I'm gonna speak about the leveling part of the build. So to begin with, the build review. So this is my character, it's currently level 79, I got 1800 life and 684 mana. I got quite a lot of spirit. I have 194, so I did make a few upgrades to get that much spirit. It's not something that is going to be too easy to achieve. But I got some defense with the evasion. This is what I'm trying to improve right now. I got 69% chance to evade. I got my resistance capped, which was not so easy, but I'm very satisfied with what I have right now. I even have 51 chaos resistance, so there is still a little bit to get here, but this is already quite good. So the build is really good for different aspects of the game. To begin with, it's fast. I think this is one of the fastest, if not the fastest character in the game. You get some movement speed in the tree. You are a ranged character, so you can shoot from a side. So being ranged character also helps with the defense in a way, because you are not close to enemies, not so often, and then you are less likely to get hit and to die. That being said, the character is still quite weak. You will get one shot here and there, and this is not the boss that are the most scary enemies. This is the pack of mobs. Sometimes there is like stuff like poison projectile especially, which are going to be really annoying. So this is when you want to be careful when you enter a map. For instance, the map with the biome, which is some kind of jungle, there's lots of enemies that are shooting dart to you, which poison you, and this is actually quite annoying. But the character is really fast, it has really good DPS, and the way you play it is like, most of the time you shoot lightning rod, and on top of that you use magnetic salvo. So basically, the first arrows that you put on the floor, you make them explode afterward with the second skill. And what is really good is that for bosses, there's a really good overlap, so the damage is scaling quite high when you have lots of ammo on the ground. Basically, magnetic salvo can fire up to 15 missiles, because it's targeting the arrows on the ground, right? So if you have one arrow on the ground, it's gonna fire one. If you have 15, it's gonna fire 15. So basically, with lightning rod, we fire one arrow from the skill itself. Then we have scattershot, which adds 2 additional arrows. And then we have our bow with the implicit fire, an additional arrow. And on top of that, we have the skill tree, of course. With the ascendancy, we have an additional arrow. So that's a total of 5 arrows. So if you shoot 3 times, you can explode the maximum of a projectile, basically. So it takes a little bit to get used to that the first time you use the skill, but you get used to it very quickly. We will talk about the leveling part later, but before using magnetic salvo, you are actually using lightning arrow, which works pretty much the same, except that lightning arrow, if you shoot on the very border of the screen, it's a bit more intuitive. There's like a little delay, very short delay with magnetic salvo that you don't have with lightning arrow. So this is the only part that you need to get used to. So this is the slight downside that I could tell about the build. This is the feeling of this kind of delay. Like magnetic salvo, some people are going to feel weird about it. I did in the beginning, but I have to tell you, if you play it a bit like 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, you're gonna get used to it and you're gonna love it. It's extremely powerful. So the upside of the build globally is that it's really fast and really high DPS, and basically the downside is that it's a ranger, right? It's a bow build. Sometimes you're gonna die. There's not so much we can do about it. Try to build your defense as much as you can once you hit a good amount of DPS, which is really easy to achieve with this build, and you're gonna have a blast. And now for the skill tree. A quick word on the ascendancy. On the first trial, we take Gathering Winds because this is the most DPS. On the second one, we take Point Blank because it's on the way for Endless Munition and it's also really good for the DPS. And for the third lab or the first trial, we take Endless Munition to get the additional arrow. And for the last lab, once we are able to do it, we will probably take Windward because this is a really good layer of defense. Basically, for the skill tree, early on you want to grab as much damage as you can, so you take the projectile damage. You can have the pierce chance here, but it doesn't do too much once we are swapping to magnetic salvo, so probably I should respect my point here and take the part on the bottom here. It's probably much better. There's not a big difference, but it's probably still a bit better here. So there's some damage on the first part. Here, this is to increase the effect of our quiver. So having a good quiver is something that is going to matter quite a lot. Mine is not so good, but it's okay so far. Then we are taking some elemental damage. Early on, also, you want to pick this wheel with lightning penetration, but I removed it because I got some jewels with lots of penetration. But this is something that you will care about a bit later, and we will talk about that as well. Then you have some more elemental damage. You want also to spec into stuff that are going to scale differently. Like here we have a wheel for damage against rare and unique enemies. And like the white and the blue mobs, they are not difficult to kill. Sometimes I don't even, most of the time, I don't even need the magnetic salvo, I just shoot with lightning rod and it's enough, so. Having this wheel is actually gonna help a lot. You don't want to spend like 15 minutes fighting a boss, and having a little bit more DPS for the boss is really nice. Also there is this wheel here, which is really good once you have heralds. This is 50% increased damage per herald, so really nice. I took some evasion as well here because, as I said, I'm trying to build up a bit more defense, and the chance to evade, I'm actually at 76 now, so it's not too bad, but I would probably go down there and grab a bit more if I can later on. There is other option, but we will talk about the upgrade of the build after. What else do we have? We have some movement speed and attack nodes over there. There is some also attack speed and increased attack speed per 15 dexterity. This one, I'm not so sure about it because since I upgraded to blasphemy, and you need quite a lot of intelligence for blasphemy, so I had to respect a lot of dexterity node, and then I don't have so much dexterity anymore. You see, I have 150, so this node is basically giving me 10 increased attack speed. This is still good, but this is arguable, this node over there. But the attack speed is still really good, so this is good, this is not insane. We could say like this is dexterity stacking, this is insane like in PoE1. It's not. It's fine, it's not incredible, but we still take it. We have a little bit more penetration and elemental damage over here, and chill effect, which is good. We also take this wheel here for freeze build-up, because once you get in higher tier maps and the monsters start to have quite a lot of life, and they will have more resistance to freeze, so having that and having more stun and freeze build-up is gonna help. That's a good wheel to take. Very defensive. When you freeze and stun stuff, you are not gonna get hit, and you can attack a lot, so this is really something good. Also a very good elemental damage node here with penetration and also some chance to freeze and so on. So again, this is like the other wheel here, really good to have. This node is extremely good. It's a bit of a stretch to reach it. It's pretty far, but it does that lightning damage with non-critical hits is lucky. And basically, if you check any skill, lightning skill, let's take this one, I don't know, any is fine, and you check the lightning damage. The low part of the damage is extremely low, and the high part is extremely high. There's a big difference between the low and the high hit. There's other skills that have even further range between the low and the high, but this is really something you want to have the high hit. Look at this one, it goes from 500 to 1800. There's a huge gap, so having the lucky part makes sure that you're gonna have much more often the high part of the damage. So really good node. I don't know exactly what is the damage output with that. I don't know in PoE2 how lucky works, but I can guarantee you this is a really good node. Also, we take this wheel because this is quite a lot of attack speed. If you check, this is 10 increased attack speed, and this is the same here, but this one gives us a chance to blind. And basically, blind enemy, they will have a very low accuracy rating. It's going to be more difficult for them to hit you, so combined with all the evasion that we have, this is a really good layer of defense. So there is 8 chance here, and we have 15, and since we have so many hits, we are attacking really fast. Basically every enemy is going to be blinded all the time as soon as you attack them. There's just so many hits happening at all time that you're going to blind them very often. And then the last part that I want to talk about is when you start having some money, you want to invest into the jewels. There's one on top. This is the last one that you're gonna grab. There is one over there, one here, and one last here. And what I'm gonna do for every piece of item that is important in the build, I'm gonna put in the description links with the trade and everything that you actually need. Let me show you what I have. I have a live search, and this is probably something that you should have as well. So the window is here, and basically I put a live search for items to not pay them too much, right? Because they can be quite expensive. This one is really good, but probably it's outdated. This one is actually really decent for 3 exalt. It's really not too much, but they can be very expensive. And I put a price limit for the search at 10 exalt. But basically, what you do, you put a count with every stat that you can have on the jewel that matters to you, and then you are not too picky. As soon as there is like 2 or 3 of them that works for you, you buy them. I'm gonna put a link in the description for every piece of item. I'm gonna put a link for the jewel, for the bow, and for the quiver to make your life easier. So you can just use the link and buy similar items. There's a lot of new players that don't know exactly how the trade works, but I actually made a video yesterday about how to trade in Path of Exile. The link is probably gonna be on top somewhere here, so you can follow the link and check the video if you need. It's gonna give you some tips on how the trade works and how to handle it properly. It's on the website part. I will probably make another video soon on how to trade in game and how to make some easy money. Probably I'm gonna make just give you a few tips. It's not gonna be some deep end game stuff, complex stuff to make money. I want to help people that have no clue in the game to help them make more money and to upgrade their build, basically. So since we are talking about trades, let's speak a bit more about the gears. So as I said, on the bow, you want to have the additional arrow on the implicit, and on the modifiers, you want to have increased physical damage and lightning damage. This is the most important part. Basically, you want a bow with high DPS. The physical is fine because it's also converted into lightning with our gems. And then the attack speed is also really nice. Basically, this is the 3 modifiers that you should care about. Anything else on top of that, like flat fire, cold damage, it's fine. Flat physical is really good. For the other items, all of them, the amulet, the rings, the boots, the belt, anything, you want resistance and life. This is what you want the most. Note that on the gloves, you can also have increased attack speed, which is good. You can have flat lightning damage, which is also good. And you can have physical damage, which is a bit less good, but still decent. The accuracy, I think we don't really need anywhere when you have high dexterity. Once you swap for something like I do with lots of intelligence, then you might want to invest into some accuracy rating, because I'm not sure if we are actually 100% sure to hit the target. If we look at magnetic salvo, the chance to hit, it's still 100%. But we know that once the projectile goes beyond 2 meters, the accuracy you need is actually higher. Another thing that I want to talk about is the penetration, actually. I forgot to mention. On the gel, I'm grabbing some penetration. Like you see, this one here is very expensive. Probably you won't be able to get something like that so quickly, but you can aim for something like that. Once you get lots of penetration, you can remove the wheel that you will take in the beginning here, because you don't want to have over 100 penetration. It's not going to be efficient. So try to be between 90 and 100. It's gonna be optimal. Then for the rest of the gears, on the ring, the amulet, or anywhere you can, if you can try to get a little bit of intelligence. I don't have too much here and there. It's unfortunate, but I need the rings the way they are. You see the life that I have here is really low, but it's still better than nothing, right? Also on the body armor, if you want to swap for the blasphemy setup that I have, you will need spirit on the body armor and on the amulet. There is different stuff that you can do to manage your spirit. There is support that you need to have that actually you could skip, but yeah, if you want to have the exact same setup that I have, you will need that much spirit. As you can see, I have exactly my entire spirit is completely reserved. I have nothing left. I have 194. All of it is used. So let's just finish quickly with the gears. On the boots, of course, you want movement speed. This is the stat that matters the most on the boots. I don't have life. Life is actually less important on the boots than the movement speed. The movement speed is going to help you anywhere in the game, like dodging stuff. There's lots of mechanic with some bosses that are scripted where you cannot just kill them in a snap. You need to dodge because there is scripted behavior, and you need movement speed to get away from it. A good example is the last boss on Act 6, or Act 3 crawl, if you will. You will need movement speed for some phase, or otherwise you're gonna get one shot. On the quiver, you want, as I said, you want lightning damage. Flat physical is fine. Mine is really low here. It's a quiver that I bought during the campaign. I could probably get a better one now. You don't want to have crit chance anywhere. We are not going for crit. It doesn't do anything for us. Really don't invest in crit. This is a wasted modifier. This is not even slightly better if you have it on the bow. If you have for instance, a bow where you can have resistance, because you can have resistance on the suffix on the bow. The crit is less good than the resistance. Dexterity, whatever it is, it's better than crit. Whether it's crit bonus or crit chance, doesn't matter, it's not good. I want to also mention something. You can see that my items are corrupted. And this is something that is not gonna sound really good for PoE1 player, because when you corrupt your items in PoE1, you have a chance to break the item and you lose it basically. In PoE2, the breaking item doesn't work the same way. When you use a Valor, you have a chance to break the item, which is going to actually replace one modifier with another. I also seen, I think that the modifier went up or down in the tier of modifier. You can add an implicit modifier, like I have here on the bow. When I did corrupt the item, I got the flat cold on the implicit. And you can add an additional socket to the item. If you check the helm here, it's an item, it's a small item, so it can only have one socket, but with the corruption you can add an additional socket. Same goes for the body armor and the bow. If they have the corruption with the socket, they could go up to 3 sockets, which is extremely good. This is the best outcome that you can have. But there's also different stuff that are quite interesting. If you check my old body armor here, I had 10% of damage taken recouped as life. This is also really nice to have. Not really that useful for ranger, because we are more likely trying to evade stuff than tanking the hit. So recoup would fit more warrior style type of build, but this is still something good. You can have very nice outcome. And in my experience, the breaking for the items happen very, very rarely. So sometimes nothing happens. I think here I corrupted the item and I got nothing. So this is also something that can happen. Just make sure when you corrupting your item, make sure that you are done with crafting what you have. Like, you want to have all your prefixes and suffixes filled. You want to have your quality up, everything that you want to do with your item, you want to do it, because once it's corrupted, you cannot do anything else with the item. It's done. You will never change it anymore. So this is something that you need to remember. So now let's talk a bit about the skills. As I said, we are using Magnetic Salvo and Lightning Rod for the main skill. We are using Escape Shot, which is really, really good when you are getting trapped in the middle of a pack, like there is mobs that are surrounding you and you are trapped and you cannot move anymore. Escape Shot is really, really good in that situation, and you can just use it like extremely fast like that, and you're gonna escape. It's gonna freeze everything. It's really good at freezing stuff, really good defensively. The damage is not so bad either, so really a good skill to have, like it's the emergency skill, right? The next one is Rain of Arrows. You actually get Rain of Arrow in the end of Act 2 or the beginning of Act 3. At that point, it's amazing. It's really, really good. At the point I am in the game right now, level 79, I barely use it anymore. I think I could even remove it. I'm not sure. Like, it's fine, because when you fire Rain of Arrows, it stays like for a bit. So in the beginning of the boss fight, there's nothing wrong to put some arrows on the floor, waiting that the boss start like waking up, you know? You shoot the Rain of Arrow, and then on top of that, when the boss is able to being actually hit, because there's always a little animation before the boss fight, then you use Magnetic Salvo. So this is why I keep Rain of Arrow, but the damage is really not that great, and usually you are focusing with the main skills that you use to deal damage. So I'm starting to be a bit skeptical about Rain of Arrow, but I have the room to still have it. This is why it's still there, but it's something that might change. Then you have Freezing Salvo. This is a great damage output. It's a skill that is recharging. Basically, you shoot it and it goes to 0, and then every 1 second it's loading one projectile. So this is something that you don't use too often, but it's really good also at freezing stuff. So in the beginning of any difficult encounter, whether it's a boss or a rare enemy, you shoot that, and then the target is frozen, and you deal DPS and you kill the enemy. really good. You don't use it too often. It's only like, I think there's a minimum of 9 projectile to be able to use it. If I try to use it right now, you see, I need more time. She cannot use it right away. I think you need to wait until you have 9 projectile and then you can use it again. So it's only every 9 seconds, every 10 actually. So, but still very good. Blasphemy. Blasphemy, as I said before, you will need spirit. It's gonna be a lot more tricky to actually use blasphemy. But it's really good defensively. If you have the investment for blasphemy, you should definitely go for it. You will lose some dexterity. Losing dexterity, you lose offense because you lose attack speed. It's not a big deal. You don't lose that much. We already have a lot of attack speed from other places, so go for blasphemy if you can, definitely. And then we have Herald of Ice and Herald of Thunder. This is for damage output. Nothing special here. I'm gonna hover over every support gem, so you can pause if you want to like take your time to see what I'm doing. I'm gonna hover over every skill and support gem. You can pause at any time if you need to check precisely what is going on. I have nothing special. This is just gems that are good for the skill themselves. You can definitely use the same setup. There's not too many options anyway, since we can only use a support gem once. So the choice is actually quite limited. This is unfortunate, but this is how it goes in PoE 2. I think it's a bit of a shame. This is interesting because it forces you to use stuff that we would not use otherwise. So it's good in that manner. I think I didn't mention Wind Dancer, by the way. This is also an aura that is good for defense, so really good. And yeah, we are pretty much done with the skills. Herald of Ice is the last one. And we are done. So the next thing that I want to talk about, this is the possible upgrade. One thing I didn't talk about, and which is extremely good, I cannot wait to have that, and this is the next upgrade that I'm gonna make. It's for the amulet. We can instillate. We can instill or insulate the amulet. I don't know how you say that, but basically, this is with delirium. You drop the distill the guilt and distill stuff, right? And you can use that to instill your amulet with one node on the skill tree. And there's this one right here. 15% more maximum lightning damage. This is really good. And on top of that, the combo with lightning damage is lucky. This is gonna be insane. This is a really strong node. I believe for the lightning character, this is the best in slot. There's nothing better on the tree to put on your amulet. It's not so far from us, so maybe we could go up there and take all the nodes here, but this is still like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's about 10 points you need to spend. We are level 79, and the thing is, I didn't see any other node that is really meaningful. The only one that I could see us take instead of that, so let's say we have the 10 extra point, and we take, we just pass up to here. That's fine, and then we would take that. Prism Guard, +1 to all maximum elemental resistance is really strong. This is something that I would like to have. And 5 elemental to all resistance, since the resistance is a bit tricky to get in PoE 2. I think it wouldn't hurt to have that, but also I think like we are approaching endgame. This has only been a week, and I think like in a few weeks, capping our resistances is going to be much easier, because the game is going to be flooded with many different items. For a little bit of money, you will have your resistance capped. I can guarantee you that. So I don't think the resistance is that much an issue, but still the +1 max, it's really nice for sure. So this is a consideration that we can have. We could get that one. We could get Prism Guard, or we could get Wildstorm. This is 2 really good options. Go with what you can. Also note that the price, you have the items that you need to install the amulet. It's on top next to the name of the node. It's gonna be a bit expensive. This is the item. If you check, this is the last one, the purple. the black and the white. The white is probably the most rare and the most expensive, so it's gonna cost something. I don't know the price yet, I just know it's gonna be expensive. But next upgrade, it's gonna be that. That's for the amulet. Then for the tree, we could go and grab this cluster probably here. There's also some mana cost node here that are good. I don't have a 6 link yet, and I think when I'm gonna do, the mana cost is gonna be a real issue. So I think that might be mandatory to handle the cost, the mana cost that we have. Not sure about it, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be mandatory because the mana goes quickly. Huh? You spend. I have some mana regeneration and so on, and still you spend mana quickly. So something to consider. And the last part would be to pass down there to get some more evasion rating because yeah, the defense matters a lot more in endgame. I'm still dying sometimes, and I want to get to 90% chance to evade. Also, my body armor doesn't have such a high amount of evasion. It's not even 400. But I have some really good chaos resistance here, some spirit, so that's a really good body armor. That's why I'm using this one. I wish it had a better evasion rating, but it is what it is. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about the leveling process. For leveling, Ranger is one of the best class. I think it might be the best because the combo that you use in endgame, you already have right from scratch on the first act. The first skill that you grab is or lightning arrow or lightning rod, and then you drop a gem really quickly on the second or third zone. It goes very fast, and so you can have your interaction between lightning arrow and lightning rod at level 2 or 3, something like that. So it's very early and it's efficient, very, very fast. As soon as you use that, you see your DPS is going really, really well. There's also an item which is gonna help you go really fast in the early stage of the campaign. And if we check the unique and the weapon and we go to the bow, just like that, yeah, there's Quill Rain, which is really good for leveling. I think you can use this one for quite some time. The less attack damage is gonna become an issue earlier than in PoE 1, I believe, but the attack speed, it's 2.5 attack speed per second. It's really good, so you can use this one for the entirety of Act 1, and probably around Act 2 or the end of the Act 2 you want to swap for something else. I don't know exactly when, maybe even in the beginning of Act 2, I'm not sure exactly. I need to do some testing for that, but for sure for the entirety of Act 1, this one is going to carry you. It's going to be extremely easy. So for the leveling part, this is that, and then you just use lightning rod, lightning arrow until the end of the Act 2. Then you use that on and rain of arrow on top, and then once you reach the end game, you swap to magnetic salvo, and then the game is going to be a breeze. It's going to be so freaking easy. So that's for the leveling part. Nothing special. You saw the skill tree. You just go along and you take. You don't even need to change the skill tree along the way. So it's really straightforward, very easy. You just take what you can, focus on the damage first, and then try to get some more defense. And that is pretty much it for the build. I'm probably gonna make a new character very soon. I want to explore maybe the Mana Stacker or the Warrior. I'm not sure yet which one I want to go first. There is the Acolyte of Shayula that I'm very interested about since they revealed the ascendancies. This one is going to be trickier to build, I believe, but I really want to try it. So leave a comment, tell me if you want me to play any particular class or ascendancy, and maybe I will consider it. If you have any build idea that you want me to test, I'm open for it. Also leave a comment if you have any other things to say about the Deadeye, and until my next video, take care of yourself, thank you for watching, and bye!